Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and good day to Madam Nur Aini and to all my fellow classmates. Thank you very much for coming. I am Mannan Zamri. Together with me, Danish Fahmi, Nurul Hidayah, and Nurul Natasha will be presenting about poverty and foreign aid in Algeria. Therefore, the title chosen for our case study will be Main Issue and Challenges of Poverty and Foreign Aid in Algeria. Without further ado, I'll shall pass the floor to Natasha. She will talk about poverty and foreign aid in Algeria briefly.
Rural poverty continues to cause great suffering to the people in Algeria given the unstable economic circumstances over the years. The population under the poverty line in Algeria has increased consecutively from 1.3 million as of 2018 to 1.9 million poor people by 2021. Algeria's urban areas are mainly suffering from unemployment rates and affect the youth. The average value of foreign aid that Algeria received from the United States remarked the diplomatic relationship between the United States and the People's Democratic Republic of Algeria. The United States has assisted a maximum of 437.91 million US dollars in 1961. Algeria is considered Moscow's largest African client, considering the consistent military help, approximately 66% of Russian weaponry. Problem statements that are being discussed is first, Algeria is a rich country, but its people are poor. This is because the country depends on high price only, which is the country's economy relying on global oil and gas prices. As a result, it is affected the poor people of Algerian because of the price when it happens to drop or stay flowing. Second, the problem of political leaders and corruption in Algeria appear to be the reason why Algeria faces high rates of poverty. The way foreign aid is received, utilized, and given by the leaders among the country has been misused with no accountability. The objective of this case study is to illustrate the main factor of poverty in Algeria and to identify the impact of foreign aid from Russia to Algeria's economic development and government.
My name is Nurul Hidayah, and I will be presenting the main factor of poverty in Algeria. First factor is political party conflict. Algeria is Moscow's largest African client in weaponry. France colonized Algeria for 132 years, and all aspects of political, economic, and social were ruled by France. A government under France influence bring French Algerian citizenship to Algerian educated elites, attend French school, and learn French language. The elite child will utilize for Algeria's political institution together with Islamic sheikh and tribal chief. During French colonization, they only knew a ruling country with strong elites and a weak civil society, and it makes Algerian leaders at that time like a puppet to the government. Next is high unemployment rates. Unemployment rates in Algeria rose at 11.7% in 2018. The high unemployment rate were between women and youth, which is 99% of youth, 19.4% of women, and 18.5% of college graduates. The rates of unemployment were raised due to the low output, employment elasticity, and rigid labor market. Due to the rigidness of labor market, it tends to favor more insider than outsider market. In Algeria, the result of demand and supply were mismatched due to high unemployment rates among college graduates. This happened because the Algerian students will face unbalanced distribution in favor of fields such as humanity, social science, law, and education. Last factor is social inequalities. There were a huge gap between poor and rich, and its consumption rate rose at 27.7%. The crucial inequalities that Algerians faced were the distribution of wealth, a fixed minority control over a large number of resources, and enjoy modern life, while the majority of Algerians were struggling to have a better life such as healthcare, clean water, education, and food. According to Algerian League of Defense of Human Rights, there are 400,000 children drop out of school annually due to poverty and poor maintenance of local schools. The poor of the Algerian were the landless farmers who lived at the north and near Sub-Saharan. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to Hidayah. I will continue with Russia-Algeria relationship and national interest. Algerian relationship with Russia existed since the Algeria regained independence when revised Russian military weapon assist during the Algerian War. There are many factors why Russia interest in Algeria and given foreign aid. I will outline the two factors, which is energy sector and economic development. The strategic partnership between Russia and Algeria is based on the energy agreement. Both countries discuss the various areas of cooperation such as energy, cybersecurity, and food delivery. Russia is also interested in the development of civil nuclear power, and Algeria agree with the agreement. The second point is the economic development. Forum took place in Moscow. Over 200 Algerian entrepreneurs participate in event which is aimed to develop economic tie between the two countries. The Russia Energy Minister noted that trade between Russia and Algeria had grown 130% in past year and boost the Russia economy. Now, I will talk about the challenges. The first challenges is the political instability. As all we know, that in Algeria, the political of Algeria country is the trend with the disappointed due to the lack of the change of the state institution that have been in the hand of the power for a long time with the same government. It became worse that Algeria dissolution parliament early legislative election also that several blow to the country, which is already suffering from healthy political and economic crisis. As for the Algeria, its unstable political economic situation could create an additional instability. Algeria instability could have recursion of the US regional partner, particularly its South Europe allies, concerned about the possible of terrorism activities spilling over the country's south.
Alright, so next point is cronyism and corruption. Initially, the flagship auto industry in Algeria was formed in order to create thousands of jobs for the Algerian people, in accordance with reducing the high rate of unemployment in the state by having more foreign joint ventures, be it factories or manufacturers to be built in Algeria. It consists of a famous brand from Germany, Japan, French, and South Korea. However, the sector was labeled as disguised import due to two factors. Firstly, the assembling parts that were brought into Algeria were actually semi-knockdown unit where it was 90% done back in the countries. Secondly, the sector was said that they will provide thousands of jobs for the Algerian people during the assembling process. However, they only required 30 to 20% of manual labor. Therefore, the flagship auto industry in Algeria was successfully corrupted by the former Prime Minister and his cronies. Alright, so I'll continue the presentation with the opportunistic terrorism. The security problems in Algeria have been intimidating with the extremist threat where the government had to spend a lot of money in countering and combating the threats from the extremist entities. The extremist entities have consecutively damaging the Algeria development where they actually were formed in order to dismantle the regional governments. The regional governments have to spend a lot of money when they start targeting the intellectuals, the Algerian people, and the journalists due to they will strongly disagree with the idea of the formation of the extremist entities.
So, in conclusion, majority of people living in Algeria face long-term challenges despite being a rich country with oil resources. We need to wipe out the disease that exists in the informal institution frameworks such as corruption, cronyism, and opportunism in Algeria. Poverty exists objectively, which is not an abstract phenomenon, and it is multidimensional in nature and a very complex topic.